nice view, Steve West. It's kind of bleak. It's bleak. It's all the industrial area of the Thames. I mean, look at this mud, look at all that sludge. And then obviously there as well, the classic shopping trolley in the sea. Tis but, no, actually, no, there's multiple ones. Look, there's two over there as well. Tis but the way of life now. Shopping trolleys, some shopping trolleys, when they are made, they are destined for the sea. Better than Southend. No, I thought so. Oh, well, you know what? I've never been Grace before, so, but looking into it when I got here last night, it did look a bit kind of, you know, same old. Southend obviously has like a pier and it's got like a seaside vibe to it. This is not a seaside, although apparently there is a beach down this way. I saw Gray's Beach, so I'm going to walk down there and I'm going to walk into town, and that's what I'm going to do basically. So there might be a pound in that trolley. You're right, you know, there'd be £3. So technically, you know, I need money nowadays, right? So my new job nowadays is to go to coastal towns, right? And it's going to go unusually. I could technically just climb down this ladder here, over there, right, into the sludge, right, and then make my way to the trolley, which would take about half an hour because it's probably like quicksand down here, right? And then I will go to that trolley, I will force out the pound, that may take up to an hour, then I'll go to the other two trolleys, which will something take up to an hour each, and then I will be profitable for £3, and it only took me 4 hours. So, I mean, you know, always silver. Actually, there's a nearer ladder there. So there you go. So now it will only take me 3 hours 10 minutes to get those pound coins out. So that's £1 an hour, pretty much, right? So, you know, the effort. So this is the Thames, right? So let's have a little walk around. So I'm in Grays in Essex, right across the Dartford crossing. Went on there last night, about midnight. Didn't have to pay the toll then. See, for more financial advice, just follow me. I can get £3 from free trolleys, and I can save you £2.50 by crossing the Dartford crossing past 10 p.m. So, you know what I mean? I mean, who's to say I can't start my own money-making podcast with hot tips like that? But you know what it is as well? It's like even though it's only £2.50, right? It's like it begrudges me. It begrudges me to pay it for two reasons. One, you're paying the system, right? Two, this is the real piss take, right? Years ago, when the Dartford crossing was being made, right? They said, the government at the time said that you will only have to pay until the bridge is paid for itself. So they basically said you only have to pay the toll until all of the cost of making the bridge has been clawed back, right? And then after that, it will be free. Well, that was about, God, how long? When was the Dartford crossing made? Was it at least 20 years ago? And they have paid back. It's obviously been paid back. The cost of the bridge, of making the bridge, has been paid back, right? And guess what? The toll still remains. And this is the problem, guys, whenever you introduce a tax system in. Once it's in, it is near impossible. It is like not even climbing Mount Everest to remove it. It is like climbing what's the supposedly tallest, the highest mountain in the known universe? It's on planet. Tell me what, it's a pub quiz question, right? Tell me what was the reason? Now don't look at like fucking Google or Brave or any of that, or DuckDuckGo. Does anyone know the main reason why the income tax was introduced? What did they say? What was the excuse at the time? They said, oh, you'll only have to pay it until this thing is over, and then you won't have to pay it anymore. What was it? So that's the reason. So once people get that question, this is the reason why I begrudgingly define the system now. With ULEZ, I'm not paying the ULEZ fines. No. Fuck them. I've just, you know, and people might go, oh, you're just, you know, that's wrong, Sean. Fuck them. They've been fucking us over for years now. Fuck them. Like I said in the last live stream, if you generally do believe in such thing as a social contract, which doesn't exist, but let's just say hypothetically it does, they have broken it. They have broken their end of the bargain. Therefore, the contract is now null and void. No one knows why the income tax was introduced. You guys need to know your history, mate. You need to know your history. Yep, there we go. T-Belly. Is it Brewster? T-Belly Brewster? The Napoleonic War. That was the reason why. They introduced it many hundreds of years ago because they said we need to introduce an income tax in order to fund the war effort. And once Napoleon is defeated, we will scrap the tax. And here we are, multiple centuries later, and we are still paying income tax. So don't tell me that taxation is a good thing. It is fucking theft. There is no other way of looking at it. And these cunts are fucking stealing from us every single day. But yet you get morons in society who have been brainwashed in indoctrination camps, i.e. state schools, and private schools, doesn't matter, it's the same curriculum, same state curriculum that's being taught, to make you think that is a patriotic duty to pay it. You are being conned. So it's those reasons why. And that's why I've decided to, knowledge is power, but I'm the man who knew too much, right? When it comes to this sort of stuff. And once you know your history, like your proper history, right? I mean, look at right now what the Canadian Parliament have done. They have given a standing ovation to a Nazi SF Waffen officer. And then Justin Trudeau, his defence is, oh, don't listen to Russian disinformation. What history? What actual history of this guy was fighting for the Nazis, and we as the Western powers, Britain, Canada, America, etc., Russia, we were fighting against the Nazis. So that basically, if any of you watching right now have any relatives that ever fought and or died in World War II, that is basically the Western world spitting in your face and your relatives' face who fought and died in that, possibly, or was maimed or had PTSD from it, or was just an enormous inconvenience for them to go and do that. They have basically spat in all of your faces, but yet you will go pay your fucking taxes and then hope by putting an X in a box things are going to change. You need to wake up, guys, for real, and start doing stuff that actually is meaningful. I mean, look, there's more shopping trolleys. So technically, if I went that, see, like there's always shopping trolleys. I don't know what it is. There's a weird custom with the youth, yeah, that we must throw shopping trolleys into the sea. It's almost like how a cat has to knock off something off a table. It's like we just got this in us where we just have to do it. I've probably done it. I think I've done it as well in the past, right? I've thrown a shopping trolley into the sea. So right now I could make £5, guys, right? Because obviously, you know, I'm short of money nowadays. It's free. There was 3 trolleys over there in the other one. Just need to climb down this ladder into the sludge, into the quicksand. Probably go up to like my, I don't know, like at least my waist level, possibly further, up to my chest. I'll just crawl over there, get a pound out of that, and I'm £5 up. And it's only taken me 6 hours. So £5 in 6 hours, that's I'm money up, mate. What's this? These are floodgates. What was it? With Gray's Town Wharf. I've got to say, there's not much going on in this Grey Town Wharf, is there? That's what I'm saying. The South End is better, Stephen West, I'm telling you. So they just permanently closed these floodgates. That's the only thing. See, I like coastal towns, guys, but I'm always kind of worried that they are going to like flood. Do you know what I mean? Especially with all these kind of... I mean, you see what's happening in Hawaii. We all know about... I mean, people... Again, you have to know your history. Knowledge is power, yeah? Look up Operation Popeye. And that was from the 1970s, I believe. 50 years ago. It's a real thing. Operation Popeye. Used it in Vietnam War. They were cloud seeding. So you see when you watch like Forrest Gump or Platoon or Good Morning Vietnam or Apocalypse Now, all these Vietnam War movies, right? There'll probably be a scene in it where there's like a monsoon level of, tsunami level of like weathering, right? That's because, not, you know, you could argue, yeah, upon some of that was natural. That could be true, yes. That possibly is true. However, what the Americans were doing, they were conducting something called Operation Popeye, and they were seeding the clouds. This was in the 1970s, right? They were seeding clouds in order for it to manipulate the weather, in order for it to rain. Because what was happening was that obviously the Viet Cong were being extremely smart, and they were using guerrilla warfare tactics, and they had the Ho Chi Minh Trail. The Ho Chi Minh Trail was a network of underground tunnels, you know, and they would just pop up. They were camouflaged in, you know, with the natural scenery of the jungle and stuff, and they would have little holes, and they would pop up and just surprise the Americans as they're walking past and basically kill them all, right? Not that I have any sympathy for these people. I mean, they invaded their country, essentially. And they couldn't beat them. They couldn't beat them because they were being smart. They couldn't face the Americans in all-out traditional warfare because they would lose smartly. So they adopted guerrilla warfare tactics, right? So because the Americans couldn't beat them, they decided that, hey, if we manipulate the weather and cloud seed all of these clouds and make it rain, perhaps we can flood the Ho Chi Minh Trail and drown them all, etc. But the Viet Cong was smart, and whatever they did, they basically prepared for heavy weather because they're probably used to it, because it's their home ground, it's their turf. It's like Sentinel Island off India. There's a little island. Apparently, it still has old civilized society. You know, like shields and spears and bows and arrows, and and they're not like, I think they know. I think they're more smart than what they give. And they go, do you know what? We reject this kind of big society kind of thing going on, and we'll just do our own thing. There was a monsoon that hit the island, Sentinel Island, a few years ago, and the experts, and I use that loosely, believe that they would be wiped out. And after it happens, the tsunami, they couldn't believe it, but they all survived, or a lot of them survived. So they just had, despite them having no technology, they had the ability to to shield themselves from that. So the Viet Cong in Vietnam must have also had that kind of way about them. So they used that for weather manipulation. Thank you, Sporty Oxford. Cheers. Keep up the good work. Thanks, mate. Yeah, I'm just trying to make some money at the moment. I've found 5 shopping trolleys in the sea, in the sludge here, and I can just go and get the pounds in it, and there you go. I'll be profitable, but for £5. Don't know whether it's worth the effort though. It'll probably take about 6 hours to climb all of the sludge and actually smash open the pound coin thing. But £5, right? So yeah. Anyway, so all of that shit. And by the way, when the Americans conducted Operation Popeye, they couldn't give a fuck about their own soldiers. If they died too, then they died as well. It's just more soldiers. It's just, don't worry, we've got conscription back in America. We'll just force people to come and fight for us. Because that's what's happened, right? America, the land of the free, right? Yeah, we're going to make you fight in this war that no one cares about, really, at home. So this is, and all of this is paid for. All of that was paid for by American taxpayers' money. We keep paying it because people can't seem to grow any balls and actually go, no, I'm not doing this. The indoctrination of terror has been successful in the state schooling system. This is, I believe this is the beach. This is Grays Beach. To go down. Beautiful beach, isn't it? I mean, who wouldn't want to? Well, I reckon there's no sunbathe, is it? Oh, God, it stinks. It's seaweed. Cat has finally allowed me to get my keyboard. Cool. Go for a skinny dip. Mate, the sludge. Look at that, mate. It'd be like quicksand, mate. I'll be wasting it straight away. It'd be like Vicar of Dibley moment. You know, he jumps into the puddle. Well, she thinks it's a puddle. Yeah, and traffic cones, yeah, they get thrown in as well. I don't know, not so much, you know. Traffic cones usually end up in people's bedroom or on top of a bus shelter. But there's some weird reason why we go through a rites of passage where we all throw a shopping trolley into the sea. I've done it. It's just this weird thing. Like I said, it's like cats. They just have to knock things off a table. That's like, who's thrown a trolley into the sea before? Come on, admit it. Come on, guys, just say it. We're all young and dumb. Come on, at some point. Look at this beautiful ship. Now, this is a seaworthy vessel. Wonder what this was. Does anyone know? Lisa, do you know what this was? What was this ship? Perhaps this was like an ancient treasure ship. Spanish galleon, carrying gold. Oh God! I'm sinking into it. Oh. It's slippery as hell. I kind of want to go on it though. Old 19th century training ship. Training ship? What do you mean? It's a training ship, or it had a train on the ship? That's called Old Trinity. Hey, is this true, guys? Are you just... What was Old Trinity, if it's true? Let's get some screenshots. Hang on, let me just take a... So what, was it always docked? Was it always dry docked, or was it actually go out to sea occasionally? whenever I see old stuff like this, right, I do often think, I'd go like, God, you know, like the craftsmanship. There's probably people who made this boat and they were so proud of it. They were like, you know, oh yeah, we made a great boat and all that. And then you could skip then a century or whatever, and then it's just here, ruined. It's like where I used to work. It was like in a building, right? And this was when the state owned, right? The building became more derelict because they all moved out, right? And then all that was left was like one business, and so about 75% of the building was just condemned and derelict. And when I used to go into, sometimes on my break, right? When I used to be a manager, I would just, you know, just go around the building and just, you know, explore. It was a massive building, like. It was like fucking Red the Wolf or something, like, do you know what I mean? It was like a massive sort of thing, right? And I'd just go exploring. I remember going to one of the top floors of the building, and again, and it was so eerie. Like, it had still the old, like, 1970s, 1980s decorations, decor, you know what I mean? Like, all of the flowery kind of wallpaper on the walls, and, you know, that kind of look, you know, like a 70s sitcom. You would go in there, and then, like, I went into, there was the head postmaster's office, and I just kicked down the door and went into it, because it's all derelict. This guy, you're not exactly going to get in trouble, everything's falling apart anyway. I went in, and there were all of these dossiers and all files just still in the cabinets, you know, and, like, maps and everything, and they were once important things, you could tell, but now they're just left out onto tables and just left to ruin, you know what I mean? But back in the day, they were considered probably like really important kind of paperwork, you know what I mean? It's just funny, you know, reading through people's personnel files from like fucking 1970s, 1980s. You know, probably dead now, these people. Some of them got disciplinaries, some of them got like, you know, whatever commendations, etc. I think, wow, who are these? Oh, you know, it always makes me wonder, like, who were these people? Ferric Yacht Club. What's the day? This is they're not doing a good job maintaining this one, but Ferric Yacht Club, the council that lost millions and millions of people's money, hundreds of millions. I think it was actually 300 million. Was it, Lisa? 300 million quid. They've gone bankrupt again. Everyone's paying their council tax. This happens. People continue paying it, even after it. Take another screenshot. But you got to be smart about it, guys. Don't be listening to these cadgers, these grifters that say that, you know, you got to be very smart in how you conduct yourself when you're doing stuff like that. I adopt the guerrilla warfare sort of tactic style. Whereas there's people who will advise you to send this letter to your council, send this letter to your water rate company, send this company to your phone contractor. And I think that personally, I could be wrong, but I personally think that is not a very wise thing to do. I think it's quite foolish, in fact, because you are essentially, it's equivalent to fate, like I said, using the Viet Cong sort of example earlier. I might have to actually drop this, guys, and actually, because I need half balance, because that's all sludge there. Let's see. Right, here we go. It's like, by sending in letters to your council, you are making them aware that you are a dissident. You are making them aware that you are challenging their power. Can you imagine the Viet Cong didn't do their guerrilla warfare tactics, and instead they fought them on an open field, the US, and they fought them in traditional warfare tactic? Do you think the Viet Cong would have won? Because I certainly don't. I think they would have been absolutely wiped out, decimated. And that is essentially what people are doing when they send letters in saying, by the power of article whatever of the Magna Carta and blah blah blah, and I declare this, I declare I am a free sovereign man, and blah 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 blah. And it's just like, it's just like a fucking seagull talking at that point then. And I don't think that's a smart thing to do, guys. I think you have to be very tactful in how you conduct yourself. You have to make it like this is guerrilla warfare sort of mentality. Like, that's why I had, if you saw on UNN, I had Mark Windows on. And I very much agree with his style of how to conduct things. You have to be smart. You have to use common sense. Common law has no common sense. Or at least the thing masquerading as common law. There is common law, but then there's something else that's pretending to be common law. It's about 70% correct, and then the 30% is just total bollocks. Oh, let me turn this off. To us, this is the mindset, isn't it? You're not taught history. So again, I've already given you like nuggets of history. You'll learn more from me in an hour than you'll learn from 5 years in history class, right? And actually use that. You then apply. Oh look, 2 more trolleys. Apply that knowledge then into the real world, like the example I've given, the analogy I've given with the Viet Cong, and how to apply that sort of style in life. 2 trolleys there, so if I got about 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 quid. 7 quid in these trolleys, guys, just saying, man. Okay, see, follow me for more financial advice. No, but for real, here's another little nugget thing, right? Look up, so I've given you Operation Popeye. What's the other thing? I've given you a thing about the Dartford Crossing, the income tax, Napoleonic Wars. Look up now Operation Truth, right? Operation Truth. And this is why I never ever change my profiles or pictures to I do not consent, or what was that recent one in yellow with black writing? It said, it was like a long piece of writing, and it was you're basically putting a target on yourself, saying, yeah, I'm a dissident. Because you have to understand, guys, and I do this knowingly. I know that all of the major social media websites, etc., including YouTube here, they all have backdoor portals. That's what they're known as. I had Dr. Shiva on a couple of months ago. He discovered this. He accidentally discovered this when he brought the state of Massachusetts in America to court. And the local Massachusetts Twitter representative was asked, why did you downgrade my tweets? This is what Dr. Shiva asked him, why did you downrank me? How can people, when I was running an election campaign, this is why have you throttled my numbers? I was getting millions of impressions and views, and then suddenly they're 5,000 views, and it's like lowering. Do you know what I mean? Why? And the Twitter executives, as dumb as they are, they basically just told the truth. Because the local government told us to, as Trump would say. Pocahontas. They told them to, because there is a backdoor portal that the state can access, and if the Twitter people won't do it, then they'll do it. They can just get some other software person that the state employs, and they can just do it themselves. Another trolley, there you go, £8. Because that is the relationship, that is the beneficial relationship of Section 230 immunity, where social medias can't be sued, and they can't be sued for defamation, and they have they have the freedom of speech. They are both a platform. That's the deal. The section protect you. No legal. Our state courts will not find you guilty or suit, or Twitter accounts, YouTube accounts, all of this. Instagram, etc. That's the truth, guys. That is fact. There is no conspiracy about that, right? So you have to understand that Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, etc., right? They are all extensions of the state, therefore. They are not private companies anymore. They are part of the corporatist relationship between big state and big, in this case, big tech giants. The UK Press Authority in England, here in the UK. It is corporate. It is the corporatism relationship of this case, big state and big mainstream media. So that's the relationship between it all. But Operation Truth, going back to that, it was after the Russian Revolution. So what's that about? I think Operation Truth was conducted in after the Bolsheviks took over. They formed they obviously violently removed the royalty, etc. The autocratic nature of it. And then they formed their own government. And some years later, then, I think it was 1922. But check for me on one of the search engines, preferably not Google, but whatever. They then commenced Operation Truth, and what the Bolshevik government did, they created an anti-Bolshevik organization, a group. And then they put it out there to the public, and then many people who were secretly against the Bolsheviks, they joined up to it. And they got their names, they gave their names, they gave their addresses. And then the Bolshevik government knew exactly who their enemies were. So when you change your profile photos to and all of this, putting a target on your back. And as we know, this state is getting more tyrannical every day. They like the Western powers, the Western side, literally praised a former Nazi officer in the Canadian Parliament just the other day. And then Justin Trudeau turns around and says, "Oh, that's Russian disinformation," because like it is becoming Orwellian. Like even though you know the truth, they will say no. And then because the brainwashed masses, especially those who have a little Ukraine flag in their bio, they'll believe it. They'll believe it. Don't listen to Russian disinformation. What did I always say about the Azov battalion? It's Russian disinformation. Even though we know there are videos, you can go on YouTube right now. You can type in Ukraine's Nazi problem. Literally the BBC, that's the state's mouthpiece from 2018, I think it was, 2017, 2015, 2016, one of those years. It will say, yeah, look, the Azov battalion, the right sector. It's right there. But people won't believe it. You can show it to these morons like Speaker's Corner Steve, who's totally compromised, in my opinion. He's a grass to the hope not hate. They probably got something on him, which I suspect I know what it is, but I won't say it for the benefit in case I am wrong. It is quite a big sort of thing if it is. You've got the propaganda mouthpiece, that moron. What's it called? Pavlov. Literally the day after the Nazis the Canadian Parliament praised this ex-Nazi. He's outside number 10 Downing Street with his megaphone, talking, "Oh, my friend, listen, my friend, we must support Ukraine. We must send as much money to Ukraine in order to defeat Russia." We're literally outside number 10. There's a protest, and this is how you know it's staged, because there's no way in hell something would be as regular as that, because grassroots movements, you see, are usually made. I mean, I'm like the exception, obviously, because of the lifestyle that I have chosen, right? But I'm very few. And you have an organized protest pretty much every single day opposite number 10 with the Ukraine people. And they fly their Azov battalion flag as well. You've seen the footage. I've So on my channel, look at it. And they're there every day, same old faces. Real. It's unnatural. It's fake. And again, all of our taxpayers' money going to that. People dying, children dying, women dying. Who knows who fucking knows who's dying? Yeah, but we still go to work and make sure that 20% of our wages are taken from us, essentially. 20% of the labouring that you've done has been siphoned off you because patriotism, right? I'm not joking, you guys. This is supposedly a beach. It's called Gray's Beach. You see, when Thurrock was wasting 300 million quid, they should have been actually here cutting the grass, making the beach more presentable and nicer. Instead they were wasting it. But hey, they don't care. It's not their money, right? It's your money. Why should they have any responsibility on it? It's not coming out of their wages. They'll still be protected. They'll probably still run the next local elections, knocking at your door, asking, "Yeah, right, mate. Yeah, you're gonna vote for me." Hang a minute, mate. Weren't you the guy? Weren't you part of that cabinet, that government, the local government that has just wasted all of our money at Thurrock here? The people got short-term memories. They're distracted. Oh my God, Russell Brand. Oh. That, Lisa, I can't see that. Tower at Coal House, Fort Easy, Thurrock Council, Essex, UK Second World War, low-level radar tower disguised as water tower on riverbank. What? What's this? What is it, Lisa? Explain. Am I near it? What is it? Radar tower. Radar of what? For what? And why was it disguised as a water tower? Was this during World War II? If it was during work, maybe that's just to like when Battle of Britain, when areas of England were getting bombed. It was just to disguise it as a water. So Germans might. Oh no, it's only a water tower. Leave that. We'll just hit the military infrastructure instead. And obviously that was a sort of a smart kind of sneaky way of getting around it, perhaps. I don't know. Sporty Oxford for my sins. I went in KFC earlier. Could you park up, sir? 8 minutes later. Head went and I drive off. What? 850 for 8 minutes. Wait, no food. What? Sorry, Tommy. What, mate? What? Sorry, mate. Can you speak a bit of English, mate? Can you type a bit of English? What was that gibberish? Yaroslav Hanker praised in Canada. Yeah, I said that. Yeah, Canadian government. Yeah, I know. And then they tell you, oh, it's Russian disinformation. It's like, I know my fucking history, mate. It's like, you guys, even though your education is shit and will always be shit because the state wants you guys to be stupid. That's what they want. They want people to be stupid. Oh, the levels have dropped. And all they do is they then lower the criteria of getting good results. So what you would get today that would result in a D, let's say, they'll lower the criteria, the threshold, so today's D is tomorrow's A. But really, you're just stupid. Do you know what I mean? Like I knew nothing at school. Absolutely nothing. It wasn't until I self-educated myself. And I tell you what, guys, the most powerful thing I have ever learned in my life is economics. And I do not have a degree in economics, right? But I know more about economics than anyone with a PhD in economics. Fact. Because they're all taught Keynesian economics or even Marxism, right? Just pure out Marxism, right? They know fuck all about economics. And you have to understand, like, forget about everything else, right? Economics is the numbers. It is, if the numbers do not add up, doesn't matter what you're saying on any of your manifestos or anything. Because every time, this used to be a little fun thing. I used to find fun. I used to look at loads of political parties just for fun. Whenever I heard about a new political party, I'd go, oh, I'd mentally write a note about that in my head, go home, and I'd research it. Because it was just something that, I don't know, I just found interesting. And the first thing I would do is go straight to their economics section. Fuck everything else they're saying. Don't care what they're saying about freedom of speech and blah, blah, all that crap, right? Because they don't know what freedom of speech is, most of these parties, right? They're idiots, most of them. They're mostly Ponzi schemes, by the way, guys. Most small political parties are Ponzi schemes. They are there to con you. They only exist to get your membership money. They have no interest of becoming an actual electable, viable party. They only exist to get your money, right? There's very few, and I'm saying most of the parties, right? There's exceptions, such as David Curtin of the Heretics Party. He actually has an ambition to make that party successful, and I do believe him for that, right? But most other parties are just Ponzi schemes to get your membership money, and they will just print shit in order to get your money. But first thing I do, go straight to the economics. Right, okay, let's see what they're saying on the tin. Right, let's see how they're going to impose that via economics. And most of the time it was absolute fucking gibberish. Because it was as if it was written by a 5-year-old. It's not because they did that intentionally. It's because most people are basically economically illiterate. They have no understanding of quantitative easing. Well, most people do actually now. The printing of money. That's a fancy way of saying counterfeiting money, right? Quantitative easing. They have no understanding of third-hand economics. They have no understanding of Mises, Ludwig von Mises. They have no understanding of who are other sort of Austrian school of economics. God, you know, I've got myself now saying all this. God, tip of my tongue. Even Chicago School of Economics, they do not know what that is. They might perhaps have heard of Milton Friedman. You've got Michael Friedman, his son, for example. Let's go up there. Who's actually, his dad was Chicago School of Economics, but his son went further and he said, no, actually my dad's too soft. I'm Austrian School of Economics. He's proper. Just get rid of the state. They cannot manage. And it's true. I am of that thinking. They cannot balance budgets. They cannot. Look at this country alone. This country is at least that they're willing to admit £2 trillion in debt. £2 trillion in debt. And then they tell you that you have to pay taxes. Give it to a body, give it to the state, which is financially out of control and irresponsible with your money. And they still expect you to pay it, or else they'll send their grooming gang, child rapist police around to make sure that you give it. There should be a law on that. It's that if you guys do not balance the books, we do not have to pay taxes. But obviously they will never pass a law like that, because they're the ones who pass laws. They've got a financial incentive to make sure that that is not passed. Right? You look at the Conservative Party, like these guys are fucking morons. They're like, you say what you want about Labour. Say what you want. But did you know this? The Conservative Party have spent more and caused debt than the Socialist Labour Party. They're worse than the Socialists, the Conservative Party. Because they are really socialists. They all are. Every single person or individual who is working for the state, whether that be a nurse, whether that be a police officer, a firefighter, a teacher, a politician, a civil servant, all of these people, they are all essentially socialists. Because you are working in a system where you are being paid by Big Daddy Nanny State taxpayer money. I don't know, a lot of people probably have been in this chat even, or probably some, I used to be in it. Is that, I'm sorry, that's just, you may, I am more of a I'm more conservative thinking, I am more libertarian thinking. It's like, yeah, that might be the case. That you may think that. But in reality right now, you are a socialist. You get taxpayer, big state money. And keep in mind, I used to be Mr. State Jobs. Like I said, all the jobs I had, firefighter, I was in a territorial army, I was like, and other jobs as well. It's just like, I was that guy. I'm not trying to be a cunt here to people, but people do have to accept that. I accepted that. I went, my God, I'm that, aren't I? And that's why I chose a different sort of career path. And I went, you know what? No, I'm not going to be paid by people who have basically robbed it off other hard-working people in order to give it to me. They don't care about national debt other than the fact that it keeps us enslaved and scrutinised by our future taxes. Yeah, it's true. And here's the thing as well, guys, that a lot of people don't think about, right? Obviously, they have, again, this is economics, right? They have quantitative easing. They have printing of money. They print money non-stop. So if they can print money all the time and be damned to the consequences, then why do we pay taxes? Surely all the money that they need can be got to from the printing press. So what's the point? So why do we need to pay taxes then? And the answer is quite simple. It's because the reason why you guys pay taxes is because they want to keep you down. They want to make sure that you don't have money by the end of the month. A lot of people just live off month to month by a paycheck, right? They basically work to live, essentially, right? I know a guy right now, he's all fucking over the place emotionally, saying he's suicidal and all of that, right? And I kind of just want to tell him, I went, because he's just working to live now, because he's got himself in debt and all of this, right? And I just want to say to him, well, mate, just stop playing their games. Just stop, come out of their matrix, mate. You've got to get out of that little rut that you're in, right? And that's literally making you suicidal, right? You need to get out of that. You're single. You don't have a family. You're like me in that regard. You don't really have much, leverage, in terms of them using leverage on you. Oh, what about your kids? What about all this, right? What about your marriage? All that, right? You just go, fuck you. that's it. I'm just going to, do something else that I actually want to do and stop paying this system. I'm not going to fuck it. I'm not going to pay my debt. What are they going to do? What are they actually going to do? Sell your shit Guy's a driver anyway, why don't you just do van life? But instead he could stay in that matrix. That's basically gonna kill him. Because people get comfortable. This is the problem, guys. People get comfortable in their routine, even though it's literally making them suicidal. They'd rather keep in that suicidal routine than do something that's different. The fear of change. I mean, ain't that powerful when you really think about it? The guy would rather stay in the routine that is making him suicidal than do something different. This is how the indoctrination works, guys. So, we're all paying taxes despite them having the printing press to continuously print money, as they always do, and give it to Zelensky and all of this sort of rubber, and give it to furlough during lockdown. All of that, right? In order to print more money to keep the welfare state, all of that, right? But you guys will have to keep paying taxes, though, because you have less money every time you pay taxes, and that means you can't be as... £1,800 a month for a flat in London. I honestly don't know why people want to live in London anymore. Like, I'm going to give you an example. Yeah, it's a bit personal. My mum's probably even watching as well, but I think this example needs to be said just to reiterate my point of how powerful the fear of change is. My mother lives in a shithole area, right, that she hates. She hates where she lives. And she said, I loved it, Sean. Oh my God, it was so beautiful, you know, and all this, right? I've been to the area, but because she's been in London for so long, that even a mediocre, if only I could live there. And I'm like, well, why don't you? And she's, oh, God. This no answer sort of logic. We'll just go there. You hate living here. You hate London. You hate this area. You have no friends. You have no real family commitment because she's single. You know, she lives by herself. Why don't you just go? Oh, and literally brings her bad health. Because obviously if you're miserable all the time and complaining and moaning, you own correlation of being miserable and having bad health. Because I forced my way out of it. That's the reason why I do what I do. And you know what? It was like the equivalent of, remember the Wizard of Oz film? Remember when she's in Kansas, it's all black and white? And then when she goes to the land of Oz, it's all Technicolor? That's what it feels like now for me. I think back at that flat I was living at, it's like black and white. And now I do what I do and everything's beautifully in colour. And I wish the money oh my God, the money I could have saved. Do you know what I mean? Wish I did this years ago. Much more happier. I'll buy something from him. I'm a bit thirsty, I am. Got £1.20. See, if I went back to those trolleys, I can get another £8. The guy is owned by a guy who lives in Stanford. What, should I not buy from it? Is he an arsehole or something? Same as my mum. So you think it's a bad thing we have a system that can help people on hard times? No, ego trip. Do you generally about you? Do you think that the people who generally need help are not being used and manipulated in order to justify a big welfare state in order to raise taxes? You think they really give a shit? Have you seen the amount of homeless people that are on the street? We didn't have the state. You know who I would rely on? there's 3 things you should rely on, right, before you ever go to the welfare state. But I know it's easy to do because in many people's minds it's just free money, right? I get it. You know, I get it because you've paid into the system for so long that, hey, this is the safety net that people were talking about that justified this ginormous welfare state that we cannot afford anymore. I want to get some of my money back. Totally understandable. That was Ayn Rand's. Justification for why she claimed, famous libertarian, claimed welfare. It's like, well, the money I paid in system, I want it back now. And I would do it as well, guys, for real. But it's only because of this high surveillance society now. They want to know every single thing about you before you claim that. Now I'm like, they can keep the money. They can keep the money. They're not having it. They're not tracking me. I'm not having that, right? They're not surveilling me by me giving them all their info. By me. If the welfare state didn't exist, right? Here's 3 things you should go to. Charities are always vastly superior because they got this. They're corrupted now because they have this corporatist nature of big state and the charities, right? But if you even so, right now, charities per capita are vastly superior to any state service offering the same thing. Say, for example, charity for blind people. Look, for example, Help for Heroes. Do you know the history of Help for Heroes? Do you know why it exists? Because the state basically stopped giving out a lot of welfare to veterans. So then a private business was set up, i.e. Help for Heroes, of disgruntled veterans, rightfully so, who said, fuck you then, we're going to start a charity and we're going to look after the veterans. So it's charities that are always, don't look at the state, they do not give a fuck about you, right? Second thing, your family. If you have a family, you go to family. Say what you want about Muslims, about Sikhs, about Hindus. I'm going to ask you all a question. How many homeless Muslims do you see? How many homeless Sikhs do you see? How many homeless Indian people do you see? Pakistan people, etc. Koreans, Chinese. How many homeless people do you see of those races and geographical people? None. Because you know what? They look after their own. And us here, white people, black people, but mostly white people, we don't look after our own. So that's really a fault on us, isn't it? That isn't a fault on them. We can't blame them for that, as many people will just go to, oh, it's bloody foreigners. They look after their own. They die in their own household with their family. Not those two interlinked, family and religion. So that's the reason why. So so if the welfare system didn't exist, I can guarantee you would still be looked after. Because you're essentially, what the welfare state does, like the NHS, it actually prevents better services from existing. Because the welfare state, and the NHS in particular, has a monopoly on healthcare. If the NHS collapsed tomorrow, there are many entrepreneurs and people who want to make money would set up hundreds, if not thousands, of new healthcare services. South Korea is the best one I've ever seen in my life, where all of the hospitals, all of the GP surgeries, and walk-in centres, etc., they all compete against each other. And when they're all competing against each other, that means, because they all want to make money, that means costs go down and quality goes up. Because they all want you to come to their hospital or come to their walk-in centre or come to their GP surgery. That's what happens in South Korea. Person I know, ex-girl I used to go out with, she rocked up, she had something wrong with her. She was seen immediately. She wasn't even registered there. Seen immediately. Seen the doctor. Given the prescription that she wanted. And got the prescription on the way out, walking out. And it cost her the equivalent of £3 in this country. And it worked. Just like that. It was like getting an MOT done. It was done in half an hour. But hey, we've got the welfare state. Oh, we need a safety net. We need people. Oh, we need the government to look after us. Because, oh, we need big mummy, daddy government to look after. Oh, I've got a boo-boo. Sorry, guys, that's the truth. If the welfare state didn't exist, I'd be dead. How do you know? How do you know that? Like I said, if the welfare state didn't exist, there'll be loads of charities, better qualified and better healthcare professionals that will be produced. Because you're just seeing it like, oh, there's no world without the welfare or NHS. There's just nothing. There'll be nothing. There'll be a void. There'll just be nothing there. There'll be no entrepreneurs. There'll be no people who want to make money and deliver a good service in order to make that money. It'd just be nothing. There wouldn't be any ambulances. There wouldn't be any hospitals. Are you fucking retarded? Of course it ain't. Of course there would be stuff. You look at the most important thing that we have to do as human beings every day, right? What's the most important thing we have to do? We have to eat, right? We have to drink. Is there government shops I have to go to get food? No, how do we do it? It's in a competitive market, isn't it? Through the supermarkets. So the most important things for humans, nutrition, even though, well, some of the food that's being produced, but you know what I mean. It's not done outright by the government every day for our own beneficial reason. That is what the market is. When people say the market is you. It's just millions and millions and millions of people making decisions every single day of their lives that benefits them. So I'm going to go to, I think there's a Lidl around here perhaps. I'm going to go to Lidl. I'm going to buy something that I think benefits me, i.e. stops making me hungry. That's it. See, people just live in this world. See, again, I'm not trying to have a go at people. I'm really not. But it's just this frustration because people have not been taught economics. This is part of economics, by the way. See, this is why you guys many of you guys probably never even thought about this sort of stuff before. It just closes your mind. Anything that can't be answered, let the state deal with it. That's basically state. Please, can you... I'm literally in an area right now where the local council has just wasted £300 million of people like Lisa's money, because you're giving money to the most worst people in society. Like literally, it is like giving the keys of the castles to Baldric from Blackadder and going, yeah, you're the Prime Minister now, mate. You're the leader of this castle. You're running the farm now. It's like the worst people. We know what it's like this sort of weird cognitive dissonance, yeah, where you go, right, do you trust politicians with your money? Nope, absolutely not. Absolutely not. And then you ask them, do you think we should pay taxes? Oh yeah, definitely, yeah. Okay. Baldric was awesome. Yeah, I'm starting to think you are Baldric, Ego Chip, to be honest. We can talk ifs and buts, but all we want, but the system is what it is, and we will never... Well, you're definitely indoctrinated, that have been basically demoralised, and you just go, oh, well, that's just it, isn't it? That's just it. We'll just accept that. I mean, you're bitching at one hand going, oh, we can't afford a train to Scotland. Oh, but it's just the way, innit? It's just going to get worse. We'll just accept it. We'll just accept it. You know, the cognitive dissonance there of complaining about something, and then within the same 3 minutes going, yeah, but that's the system though. That's just the way it is. All right, cool. Well, if you're not willing to do anything, ego chip, then you deserve everything you get, mate. That's the way. You get what you pay for. In your case, paying taxes. Yeah, I'm a realist too, ego chip. That's what I'm saying. You get what you pay for. You're a lost cause. That is the reality of it. I mean, this is what I'm saying about, like, the guy that I know is literally telling me he's suicidal, and if he continues what he's doing, he's going to kill himself. Okay, so don't do it then. Oh no, but I like my routine. It's just the way it is. That's reality, right? Okay, cool. Well, there's nothing I can really do for you then. If you're not willing to make the changes need to be made, then what do you want me to do? I can't wave a magic wand around. Yeah, England dog. Immigrants live off the state, most of them. Yeah, and people like Ego Chip keeps paying their taxes to fund that. No one is willing to help, then what's the point? Okay, cool. Okay, Ego Chip, you know what? I'm just going to stop talking to you now because you're basically just a lost cause at this point. On Sunday, French police announced that they found the body of a migrant on the beach at Sandgate on the Channel coast. Yeah, there are people who die in that sea every day. Most likely. I mean, how would you know? They probably are dying every day in that ocean, right? And well, that's on them, really, isn't it? I mean, they're choosing to do that. I don't really have too much sympathy for them. I can understand their mentality for doing it because they've obviously been conned as well in a way to think that. I mean, just be realistic, guys. If we all came from a shithole country, right, and we all heard that there was a land out there that was giving away free stuff, free meaning that all of your monies, Ego Chip's monies, everyone else's money is being used to put you in 4-star hotels and giving you phones and putting you on the welfare state and all of that. Let's be honest, guys. We'd all probably go, wouldn't we? Most of us. If we really came from a really shithole country that was just horrible to live in. You would, wouldn't you? Let's just be perfectly honest here. It'll be like the equivalent of Atlantis or something. Place with, because that's how they see it. That's the con that they have been tricked into. Because this is our own people who have been born here, who are our enemies, and that's people who continue doing what they do, and that's people who are creating the indoctrination, and they want this country to fail. Because if this country fails, then guess who's going to look after you? The state. Oh no, the country. Oh fuck, oh no, the country's fallen over. I'll tell you what we're going to have to do. We're going to have to get rid of money, start a digital currency. Everyone gets UBI, and we're just going to look after you. Everything's going to be digital now, so we're going to watch everything you say. By the way, just for security, in case anyone's a extremist terrorist. That's how they'll set it. And if you start saying anything, we're going to punish those people for not having nice thoughts, right? Because by this point the state will be like a school teacher at this point, right? And we're basically just gonna, take off 100 quid here and there and program the money, which is essentially like vouchers. They can only buy certain. Oh, I guess we can't. You know what? meat is bad for the environment, guys. So what we're going to do is, half of the month, when you go shopping, there'll be specific days you can go shopping, because we'll program the money to be active on certain days of the week, etc. Half of those days, 3 of those days of the week, you can only buy vegan stuff. Okay? Because we need to save the planet. That's what we need to do. And then people go, oh, okay. Well, that's just the reality we live in. It is what it is. Do you want to change anything? No, it is what it is. That's just the reality of it. Okay. So, most people with that mentality, they deserve everything they get. No wimpy for Lisa, exactly. Can I claim asylum in Ibiza? Probably not. That's what we're going to do, guys. They import these people in order to break the system. Oh, we've got too many people in. Fuck, the welfare system's collapsed because so many people have been claiming off it. And the hospital waiting is too long. And, oh, guys, sorry, we're going to have to just end all this, right? To save the NHS and the welfare state everyone loves, we're going to go to CBDC. And even though, this is going to be a hilarious thing, guys, right? Even though most people know that will be an end to pretty much freedom, right, in this country, right? People will still go for it because they're addicted to the welfare. It's an addiction. The state is essentially a drug dealer that gives out the drug of welfare, right? And they want you addicted. Look at every single dealer, right? They truly want you addicted to their drug. That's why you ever notice that, like, I know morons that I know, right? They go, oh, my drug dealer is really nice. And I'm like, well, yeah, of course he's nice. He wants you addicted to his drug. So he's always got a customer. What, you generally think that he likes you? Like, seriously? Like, they want you to be addicted to it. That's what the state does. Oh, you just be on welfare for a little bit, you know, until you get back on your feet and, you know, whatever. And then 20 years down the line, you still want it. It's a drug, guys, I'm telling you. My brother, for example, he was on it for about 15 years, I'd say. And I say to him, I went to him, why don't you get a job, mate? And he goes, well, Sean, do you know what? I'll be honest with you. And he was absolutely right as well. And this is where they get you, right? They go, he went to me, I mean, I could get a full-time job, bust my ass for 40 hours a week, but really I would only be making like about 400 quid extra. So why would I want to do that? Why would I want to bust my... And it's true. Why would you? It's human nature, right? Why would you? That's why it's actually bad to have a generous welfare state, because it stops incentive, right, to actually go off and do something. So eventually he did get off it, though, because he realised that, do you know what, I need to do something. So he actually did get off it in the end. But now, again, he's stuck in a cycle where he hates his job. It's making him depressed. This isn't the suicidal guy I was talking. This is just someone. This is my brother now. He hates his job, depressed. Hates where he lives in London. He also went to a coastal town, coincidentally, and he said, "Wow, it's great. I want to move there." I said, "Why don't you?" You know, they never answer. That's the annoying thing. They never answer. It's just, oh well, you know, it's the way it is. It's reality. Still here. Am I still here? Let's see. Am I still here? Am I still here? Let's see if it works. I am. Oh, fantastic. Fantastic. Cool. Put you back in the Pro, and I thought because I wasn't looking at my battery power, but I've managed to save it by quickly putting in the battery charger. Oh, but I think it's going to go again. Anyway, guys, thank you all for watching. Damn it. Yes, I'm going to go, guys, I'm glitching out. I'm going to go. Thank you all for watching. I think it's a good time to end it anyway. I've got 2% power. So, thanks, guys, for watching. Hope I do love ranting. No one's getting banned, by the way, just so you know. I never ban people. I mean, unless it's like fucking, like, they're threatening something or whatever, like, you know what I mean? But disagreeable opinions don't get banned. It's more better to just keep people on, listen to them waffle on about nonsense, and they usually just sort of realise they've made fools of themselves, then they sort of just go away. That's what I've noticed. So no one gets banned on this channel. So thank you all for watching, guys. Take care. I'm on UNN tomorrow. I've got 2 special guests, guys. I've got one guest on who is part of the Stop the Banning of the Bully XL dogs. That would be interesting to hear that. I've also got a really interesting story as well about how the mainstream media have reported a fake story, I think purposely, to encourage the ban. But I'll let you know about that. And then on Thursday, I'm going to have another special guest. He's the president of a micronation called Liberland, and that has been recently, police have invaded that, but well, you'll see what I mean. It's very interesting, actually, story that's happened, and this goes with what I've been saying about why you cannot openly defy the state. They will come and crush you. They hate any form of competition, no matter how tiny you are. But don't worry, keep paying your taxes though. We got chip that will stop it. But yeah, so I do thank you all, guys, for watching. Have a good one, and I will catch you. If I don't do a live stream tomorrow, you'll see me tomorrow evening at 7 PM on this channel. Thanks, guys. Take care. Also, you want to help fund my escapades and live streams, etc., in new places. Please do that. Where's actual last seen in Wales? I don't know. I saw that scream. I don't know where. I don't know what happened. I haven't watched it. Anyway, guys, this is going. So take care. Thank you very much, and have a good day to all of you. Cheers.